Wait, so to clarify real quick, do you agree that it is acceptable to give to children in some circumstances deemed by doctors?
If they physically need it, yeah, and it
Nope,
isn't
they're not
many
banning
doctors.
puberty blockers in the UK.
I'm pretty sure they're banning like gender affirming care in the UK for minors.
So they banned puberty blockers? Really?
I think there are people who claim to be trans, but I don't
Are
think that
there
label
people
means
who are
anything.
not trans who have gender dysphoria?
Um, yeah, I'm sure, definitely, of
Okay, thank you
course.
for the concession. Why do you support Trump?
Yeah, because he's like attacking this transgender nonsense, so that's why.
Wait, we said January what year? 2005? And you're 21?
Yeah, I'm 21, yeah.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, so he's attacking the transgender nonsense, and I just think we
And
need
what do you
to,
mean by that?
like, the idea that we should give gender reassignment surgeries to minors and,
Nope,
um,
never something that Democrats supported.
wait, what?
Can you name
Yes,
one demo?
yes,
Can
it
you name
is.
one Democrat in Congress that supports gender reassignment surgery for children?
Well, they support the drugs.
Wait, big distinction. So can you
Not
provide
really.
can you provide one single person in Congress that supports the view that gender reassignment surgery should be given to minors?
Maybe AOC, right?
Nope,
Not
AOC does
not the
not believe that.
surgery. Not the surgery, but the drugs, like
So
medically transitioning,
yeah,
right?
that's like when they're like 15, 16 years old. The same time I was able to get access to Accutane through my parents and my doctor. So do you think I should have been able to get access to Accutane when I was 16?
That's not even close to as harmful as like the drugs for gender assignment surgeries.
Wait, you say that it's not even as close to as harmful. How do you provide the distinction?
Yeah, because what were your side effects from Accutane?
There were countless side effects. I'm not going to go through all of them. Many of them were during, but by the way, there are countless side effects that can happen long term as well. And what you're not considering is that there are most people specifically that use hormones, right? They have positive impacts, very positive impacts.
So long-term side effects for Accutane, they don't. That's not typical at all, and
It's not
there's no
typical for
like.
you to have these types of negative impacts from hormone replacement therapy as well.
Yes, it is because it blocks
No,
puberty and
no. Oh,
there's all
now
sorts of
you're
research.
flipping back and forth between hormones and puberty blockers. Puberty blockers definitely are very positively impactful. There are individuals that will use it who are cis, right? Right, and especially for precocious puberty.
Okay, but
The hormone replacement
if you're
therapy that
using it,
causes
if you
puberty.
don't need it, if you're using medication that you don't need solely to like battle gender dysphoria, I don't think that's
Wait, this is
appropriate for a
determined by the
child.
doctor and their parents, right, and the kid,
No, no.
not by you.
If you've seen in the UK, they're banning this because there are so many side effects, and it
Nope,
isn't
they're not
many
banning
doctors.
puberty blockers in the UK.
I'm pretty sure they're banning like gender affirming care in the UK for minors.
So they banned puberty blockers? Really? What's your evidence?
Yeah, I literally like I think I was researching this
Go ahead,
today.
provide me the source.
Okay, can I look it up?
Yeah, and even so, again, let's say, for example, which this is not true, let's say the UK did do this. That does not justify us then doing it as well, just because the UK did it. That would actually be bad if that happened in the UK, but it didn't. And I know that he's just bullshitting, so that's why I asked him for the source. Thank you for the level up, Sparks. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so gov.uk says ban on puberty blockers for individuals under 18 is indefinite, meaning
Okay,
like
what's the
for the
title?
I just said ban on puberty blockers for like under 18.
Let's see, let's see. Okay, so they're just to treat gender dysphoria, not overall. So they
Yeah,
explicitly,
they're
so they
banning
didn't.
it for
So by the
trans
way, let's
kids.
just be clear: the UK didn't ban it for any other children. It just banned it for people who are being treated for gender dysphoria.
Yeah, because the people with gender dysphoria
Wait. So
don't
to clarify,
physically need it.
so to clarify real quick, do you agree that it is acceptable to give to children in some circumstances deemed by doctors?
If they physically need it, yeah.
Okay,
If they
so
medically need it.
if deemed by doctors, because that's going to determine who needs it, right? Then they should be able to get it. Well, then in the context of the United States, if determined by doctors, why should they be able to get it because of gender dysphoria?
Oh, because gender dysphoria is not a physical necessity. Like they don't physically need to be treated for that. That's more of an option for helping their mental health. It's like you don't need to take depression medication if you're on depression, right? So we probably shouldn't be giving that to kids.
You said we probably shouldn't be giving that to kids. I disagree. I think that doctors should be the ones determining this. It's not determined by some random idiot on the internet called Henry who doesn't actually understand anything about science or anything about the impacts in
But
terms of puberty blockers
these
in the first
doctors
place.
agree with me though.
You know nothing about it. So let me just be very clear. There are countless doctors that will specifically in circumstances see that it is actually beneficial, that the risk-benefit analysis indicates that it's beneficial. And I think that in those determinations, it should be up to the doctors and the parents and the kid and not us in the context of the legislation.
We're seeing countless more doctors agree with me, actually. They're banning it in the UK, Sweden. I heard plenty of US states. So
Wait. That's not
honestly,
most places. So then would you then agree with all the doctors that are
no,
not saying to ban it?
it is actually most places in the world. It is banned for minors.
So wait, so hold up. You were saying that it's getting banned in most places specifically that you would look at, right? You're not going to look at just like what countries all around the world have, and then you're going to then make your determination of, oh, it's what's most places around the world. For example, do you want a universal healthcare system?
Oh yeah, I
You
would.
do?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want gun control legislation that prevents people from getting access to guns?
Well, I think I want gun license. Gun
Wait, but
license. I don't want to ban
we
guns.
want exactly what they have in other countries, right? Other countries they ban guns, right? So
Well,
we
other
should do that
countries
too.
not completely because America
Yeah, they
has
do.
the Second Amendment.
They ban guns. Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, other countries have, but no U.S. state has banned guns.
Okay, wait, that's regardless. You don't judge it based on states. You were judging it based on foreign countries, right?
I don't know. I think according to
Earlier,
American
you were
culture,
citing foreign countries as a reason as to why we should specifically address that.
yeah, but America has different circumstances. Like for in Alaska, if you're in Alaska, you basically need a gun to like defend yourself from bears or whatever. So I don't know. It's a little different. And also, many European countries have
Again, the
banned
point that
guns.
I'm making though is that you don't judge it based upon just what other countries have. You judge it based upon an argument, based upon reasoning, right?
No, I do judge it based on other countries as well.
So if all other countries ban guns, then you'd argue to ban guns here?
I mean, but yeah, if they had justification for banning guns, like if
No,
gun
no,
deaths were
I'm
like
asking you, just the fact in of itself that all other countries have banned guns, would that
not
mean
not
you
the
want to ban
fact in
guns?
itself, not the fact in itself, but I was
Okay,
justifying.
so then the point is then true that you can't just bring up the fact in of itself that another country has banned this and then use it as justification to ban it here. That's not a good argument.
But it's not just that the countries banned it; it's that the doctors from those countries have
Wait, but like there are doctors in this
determined
country that indicate that it's effective, and the doctors have not indicated that it should be banned in this country.
more. No, we're actually seeing a stark contrast now from for gender, how to treat gender dysphoria. Like there are more and more doctors that are speaking out against this. So
Okay, so more and more doctors, quote unquote, speaking out against this, and I'd love to see the source that you're referencing. That doesn't at all change the fact that the doctors that indicate that it will be useful or beneficial, you would then say that you want to listen to, right? Because you said that you're listening to the science, you're listening to the doctors. So if a doctor determines that the risk-benefit analysis shows that it's more effective for the kid to be able to get access to puberty blockers, then would you argue that they should be able to get access to it?
yeah, but we've seen the opposite
Yes. Okay,
research.
thank you very much. Thank you for the concession.
We've no, because that doesn't reflect our reality because we've seen the opposite. We've seen that it's
What do you mean it
actually
doesn't reflect our reality? That does reflect our reality. There are countless situations where people get puberty blockers where they did so through the context of a medical professional and their parents. That's literally how they get
yeah,
puberty
but
blockers in the first place.
I'm saying we're seeing evidence that it's actually harmful, not beneficial.
Okay, but the evidence in the bibliography on bio, you can actually see otherwise if you'd like to go check it out.
Oh yeah. You mean the small sample sizes, short follow-up studies? Got it.
So by the way, the evidence is about you guys banning it is really just about them being uncertain, not about the fact that they have impacts that say are negative.
Okay. Well, I still think even trans people, by the way, are against all of these like puberty blockers for kids. So
No,
like I think
mostly trans people say that you should have puberty blockers, like you're able to get puberty blockers. You're just wrong on that.
well, I was like
Why are you
seeing
lying?
this. No, I was seeing this video of this guy, this trans person saying we shouldn't have puberty blockers for kids.
Yeah, one trans person said this, therefore most trans people think this. Is that really your argument? Literally,
Uh,
a single person in a video said this, therefore most trans people think this, okay? You're
well,
fucking insane.
I'm sure it's a lot of trans people that think.
Are you actually, is that seriously your argument?
Well, my argument is look at other countries, what they're
Wait,
doing, what they
pause,
believe
pause,
the
pause.
risks to
No,
be.
no, specifically about trans people. Was that your only argument? That's your only
How
argument
is
for
it my
saying
only
that most
argument?
trans people
How is
think
it?
this?
I've given you a whole argument already.
Wait, no, you literally just gave one person. You said there was one person you saw in a video that said this. What?
Yeah, and
I
okay,
promise you there's more than one trans person in the chat listening to this stream right now that absolutely agrees with my point of view. I promise you.
Yeah, because they're in an echo chamber. That's
Oh,
why.
okay. So can you define echo chamber?
Yeah, an echo chamber is a space where a bunch of people with the same ideas just spread them back and forth with each other
Really?
with no
So is a
opposition.
debate panel really that? You really think a debate panel is just going to be the same people with the same views? Really, I'm debating you, my God. We have disagreeing opinions. It's a debate. The whole point of the stream is about disagreeing with each other. This is literally
No.
antithetical to what an echo chamber is.
No, because everyone in your chat agrees with you, so how is it an echo chamber? How is it not an echo chamber?
You don't agree with me. And also the people in the chat, they're watching a live stream where people agree and disagree and debate on that. It's not like someone's in like a liberal live where they're just talking to liberals that agree with them. That could be an echo chamber. You could define it as that. If it's only liberals in there and it's just like a Q&A live stream, you're only doing liberals, only liberals are brought up on the panels or whatever, and it's all just liberals in the stream. That's an echo chamber. This is the exact opposite of a fucking echo chamber. The fact that you would describe
Really?
this as an echo chamber, one, proves you don't know what an echo chamber is. Two, shows how fucking stupid you are. And three, is just embarrassing.
Wait, so you think if there are 5,000 people watching and you basically have this ritual where you bring up Trump supporters and try to make them look bad by insulting them, you don't think that's an echo chamber?
So I bring people up and I insult them after I destroy their arguments. Yeah, that's not
Wait,
an echo chamber.
do you
That's
think
the
you've
opposite
ever
of an echo chamber.
do you think you've ever lost an argument?
No, I've never lost an argument. Yes, of course
See,
I've lost an
so
argument before. Not against MAGA, but I've lost an argument
so
before.
you don't think you've ever lost an argument against a conservative Trump supporter?
No,
Ever.
never. Literally never.
So you're just proving my point that this is clearly an echo chamber, and obviously you have. Obviously you have. I mean, but
I could say
you're just
I've been
denying it.
wrong on points. Like I've misread things, I've said things incorrectly, I've been wrong on points, but I can't say I've ever lost a debate to a Trump supporter. Yeah, I can't say that.
So do you think it's possible for you to ever lose a debate to a Trump supporter or no?
For example, let me give you an example though. I have lost a debate to a Christian when I was an agnostic, when I literally didn't know anything about it. Like actually, when I first started doing my lives where I do prove to me God exists, I had no clue. I literally didn't know any of the arguments. I learned Pascal's wager from the live. Like I learned all these arguments from the live. I heard the Kalam cosmological argument first on the live. So like I had no examples of this before. And a really strong Christian debater came up and debated me and knew way more about the topic than me. I've definitely lost a debate on that before. Now I've come back and done that, and I debated that same person. I would say I definitely have a different result now. But the point I would then make is that I can acknowledge if I've ever lost a debate. I just genuinely don't think I've ever lost a debate to a MAGA supporter.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably lost like debates regarding transgenderism or whatever. And
No,
other...
never,
Never?
never,
Really? So tell
never
me, what
lost,
is a
never
woman?
once.
What is a woman?
What is a woman? An adult human person that's committed towards social and cultural norms. So typically associate the female sex as a prescription of their gender identity.
Wait, but that's actually an incorrect definition because the real definition is a woman is an adult human female. So you
You
just
can't.
already lost.
That is so
You just already
embarrassing.
lost.
That's so embarrassing. You can't say I have an incorrect definition. I'm telling you how I'm using the term,
No,
and
literally
you're
the
saying,
dictionary
dude,
the
listen,
dictionary just
I'm going to mute you. So the dictionary doesn't define the only usage of terms. The dictionary is a catalog for how we typically use terms. So language is subjective. It's dependent upon the way that you're using it. All you have to do is clarify the way that you're using a specific term. I clarified the way that I'm using the term in that context, in that context, and you said I'm incorrect for using a term that doesn't make any sense. I would only be incorrect if I misused the term with respect to the definition that I was using.
yeah. So well, still your definition is absurd because you could also apply that to like a species identity to race identity. Like
What is that
stopping
even
someone
supposed to
from
mean?
what is stopping someone from
That
transitioning
is
to a
not
different
that I could
race
not apply
or a
that to
different
race
species?
or to or
Yes, you
species.
can, because
No,
there are
it's not.
social characteristics associated with species, associated with race, that people might have a different internal sense of identity to align with. So it's completely absurd that
So, for example, we believe that names are legitimate and valid, right? And
uh
that's like a social label that we align with as a part of our identity, right?
yeah, sure. I mean,
Could,
names
could, I-
used to
could, I,
mean
could I come up
things.
to you and okay, so if you think that that's valid, you think social labels of identity are valid, then what's invalid about a social label for identity relating to gender?
Because gender overwhelmingly reflects biological sex,
I,
obviously.
I'm well,
And
that's not how we're using the term here. And I would actually overwhelmingly say that it doesn't. I would say most of our experience with gender is from a sociological standpoint, not from a biological. I'm not looking at someone's chromosomes, someone's gametes, or someone's genitalia when I am determining their gender, right? Or I am engaging with the presentation or how they engage with gender, their identity relates to gender. None of that is something that we're ever going to engage with from each other unless we're referencing like our significant others or something like that, like people that you are there with an intimate basis, and you're going to know things about them, you're going to be closer to them with that respect. Then obviously you might know those specific things about them to a greater extent, okay? But the fact of the matter is that most of our experience with gender is not from that biological basis, it's from the social basis.
mm, no, I disagree because it is from the physical traits you have. You can easily observe. There's a reason, like a man, the typical heterosexual relationship, right, is a man dating a woman, and they have different physical characteristics, obviously, and that's how we reproduce as humans. So for you to say there's no physical uh, determination of gender, right, is like ridiculous. It's not all your feelings.
Well, it's so you're misunderstanding my perspective, right? So obviously there are presentations that relate to gender, of course, but obviously they're going to be predicated off of at least how I use gender, based upon our social commitments to be in accordance with certain sets of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with as a prescription of our gender identity. So that's the way that I'm using the term. Now, if you're saying, oh, I have this biological usage of the term, sure, you can have your own biological usage, but that's separate from the way that I'm using the term. That doesn't make the way that I'm using the term incorrect. That doesn't make the way that I'm using the term bullshit. That doesn't make the way that I'm using the term nonsense. Just because you use the term differently than I do, or other people in society use the term differently than I do.
Well, I think it is nonsense because your
By
term
the way, you
implies,
probably believe the
can
election in
you,
2020 was rigged. You probably believe vaccines
no,
aren't safe and
no,
effective. We can go through all of
no.
this. Watch.
Hey, you can keep interrupting me or I can speak, right? So it implies that if I believe I'm a woman and I truly believe it, suddenly I'm a woman. So where is the reality uh, like involved in that? It seems like it's
Well, it's not
completely up
logically
to your
possible for
opinion.
you to truly believe that because you are not trans. You are not in a
Wait,
situation where you
how?
have that understanding. But for people who do truly have the understanding of the commitments to be in accordance with this particular set of social and cultural norms, with expression of their gender identity, absolutely. If you're a trans woman, you are a woman. If you're a trans man, you are a man. Absolutely.
So do you think if I truly believed I was a woman, would I be a woman?
Again, like I just told you, that's not possible for you because you're
How is it not
cis.
possible?
Because you're
Wait,
cis.
why are you assuming my identity? You haven't even asked for my pronouns.
I don't I don't need to ask for your pronouns. I know based upon the arguments you're making and based upon how you're presenting yourself, right? Exactly what your identity is, exactly where you're coming from, and exactly that you're not trans.
So you're stereotyping me essentially. So what if I, for example, stereotype a trans woman to be a man because they look like a man, right? Is that wrong, do you think?
I would think that's wrong, but that's not the way that I'm making this determination. I'm making this determination based upon your ideological preferences and the way that you're phrasing these arguments. That's the way that I came to a determination specifically that you are not trans, right? And based upon your presentation of this argument, because it's basic deductive reasoning. What you just provided is not deductive reasoning.
So
Like,
you're
come on,
saying
bro.
basically,
You can't just you just tried to criticize deductive reasoning. That's what you just tried to do.
but what you're saying basically is that I can't be trans. You're basically discriminating against me,
Yeah, you
right?
can't be trans because you're cis. Is that complicated?
Wait, but what? Wait, why can't I be
What?
trans then?
What? Like seriously, I don't think it's that complicated for you to be like, "Oh, I can't be trans because I'm cis." Yeah. Can you be gay? No, you're straight.
Wait, why are you like labeling people? Do you think, what about the detransitioners? Do you think that they were never trans? Because by that logic, you believe people are born trans, correct? If you think I can't change to be a transgender person.
Yeah. I think that the understanding the way that they respond is sort of innate and is not specifically just based upon some sort of volitional choice to do so. It's based
So,
upon a way that they innately respond to these particular social and cultural norms.
so do you think people are born in the wrong body then, basically, because you think they're born trans?
So certain aspects of their body aren't reflective of their gender identity, their true gender identity. Yeah.
Okay, so why do we then see, like, for example, I believe that, genetics has some component in being gay, right? So we see gay people even in conservative households, even in the Middle East where it's not acceptable. We don't see trans people in
You
other
do.
societies.
They do. They exist.
Okay, name one trans person from the 1800s.
Name one trans person from the 18. Can you name one short person that was under 5'1" from the 1800s?
I'm sorry, what? How is that related to
Yeah,
my
can you
question at
name
all?
one short person under 5'1" from the 1800s?
Wait, I'm sure there we've seen
So you don't
pictures of
think
them
short
though.
people under 5'1" existed in the 1800s? Wow, that's crazy, bro.
No, but
Because
like
you can't name a single
we're
short
trying.
person under 5'1" in the 1800s, and that means that they didn't exist, right?
No, but I could look one up right now. I don't have it off the
And
top
I
of my
could
head.
look
So why
up a
don't you look
trans
up a?
person from the
Yeah,
1800s too.
try looking them up.
Wait,
I mean, I can name
you
gay people
understand
from
that
the
you can. Like
1800s.
that's just an embarrassing thing to argue.
I can name like Oscar Wilde was gay from the
Wait,
1800s. You
I'm
have
sorry. There are historical bases for trans people existing. There's historical art that
no,
represents trans
not in the
people.
modern
There's
sense.
historical there's historical stories and books and representations of trans people. That's definitely very clear.
Wait, so then name a trans person though.
There are people spamming them in the chat.
Someone said Queen Victoria. I mean, completely incorrect. Well,
They're referencing specifically under 5'1", I'm assuming.
okay. Well, we'll see. There's no one spamming any real trans person. They're saying Shakespeare.
You're like
He
not
was a
reading the
man.
chat. You're like purposefully not. He's just acting like he doesn't see things in the chat. Like, dude, how embarrassing, bro.
I mean, my man,
You're
I
just
was able
acting
to
like you
name.
don't see the chat is hilarious, dude. Like the chat
No,
is
but
spamming people, and
my
he's
points.
just acting like he doesn't read it in the chat. It's really funny.
My point is that I'm sure gender dysphoria existed, but I
Okay,
don't
gender
believe
dysphoria
that.
is not the same thing as being trans. There are people who are not trans with gender dysphoria.
Okay. Do you know what is required to
Wait,
undergo
do you agree
transgender
that there are
surgery?
people who are not trans with gender dysphoria?
I think there are people who claim to be trans, but I don't
Are
think that
there
label
people
means
who are
anything.
not trans who have gender dysphoria?
Yeah, I'm sure, definitely, of
Okay, thank you
course.
for the concession.
Wait, no, how is it a concession? Because I think that
Because you acknowge that being trans
no,
and having gender dysphoria are not the exact same thing
because
in
I
terms
think
of a
being
logically
trans
identical
is
sense.
basically made up, and that people with gender dysphoria shouldn't transition to the opposite sex. I think that's ridiculous.
So you're not actually like providing an argument, you're just simply saying that you just don't like trans people. And you know what I have to say to
No.
you? Go f yourself.
Okay, you're
Stop
scared then.
worrying about people's genitalia. Stop being so obsessed about trans people's
Right.
existence. You literally are so unbelievably obsessed with trans people. Just let them exist, bro. They just want to exist.
No, but they're trying to force me to call them
They're
proper
forcing you
pronouns,
jack shit. You're just being
right?
a
Aren't
dick.
they? Aren't they?
Right? They're trying to force you to be
So,
respectful. They're telling you to not be a dick, dude.
so tell me, you would probably not
Like
date a
seriously, like
trans
wait,
woman,
are you
right?
mad that people in society tell you to not be a dick?
No, I think they are actually the
Because
ones
that's
being dicks,
that's what's
right?
happening. You're literally
No,
mad
but
that
they're the
trans
ones being
people are
dicks. And
saying
look, we
don't
have
be
an
a
echo
dick. That's
chamber
literally
here.
all you're mad. Wait, and it's not just trans people, it's also me. I'm telling you don't be a dick to trans people. I'm not trans, and I'm telling
Well,
you that
you're.
right now.
Wait, what if I said
Stop
you're
being
being
a
a dick to trans
disrespectful little
people?
shit. Like
You,
what?
you, s- you said I couldn't be trans. Isn't that transphobic? You said I couldn't be.
No, it's not. Because you're cis. I said you can't be trans because you're cis.
So a cisgender person can't go and say they want to be trans. That's insane
No,
for you to say that.
you can't just be like, "Oh, now I'm trans." That's not how it works. If you're cis, that
How does it
literally
work?
by the way, being cis literally means by definition that you're not trans.
Wait, but
How could you be trans and also be cis? That makes no sense. It's
no,
logically
but
incapable.
you don't think you
Okay,
can start out?
it is literally logically contradictory. So when I say you can't, yes, I literally mean you can't because it's contradictory.
You don't think you can start out cis and then become trans later?
I think that you could have a difference in understanding, but you were trans, right? Like you could have an understand. Like for example, my sister who is gay. She specifically throughout her whole life thought she was straight because she grew up in a conservative Christian household in Iowa, where specifically that's how she was taught she was. But she was not straight. She never was straight, right? That's just what
Mm.
she was taught she was, and that's the way that she viewed herself from that particular standpoint. That doesn't mean she was straight at any point in time. That simply just means that that was what society was telling her. So that's the way that she saw herself because that's the only way that society told her
Okay.
is the way that she could have saw herself. Okay? But she still was gay. Like that's like it would be ridiculous to say that she went from straight to becoming gay. Like
Well,
come
there are
on.
definitely
Like
straight
your
people who
argument that you're
become
making
gay.
right now is the same type of argument.
No, there are definitely straight people who become gay later that were straight before. It's absolutely true. You don't
Okay,
believe
so
that?
I would say that that's probably something in alignment with being bisexual,
No,
or there's
because
some
there are men.
fluidity that exists there.
There are men that go to prison and then they become gay. Did you know that?
They didn't become gay.
No, no,
They
they do.
they would have already had that attraction.
No, no, no. That's how do you know? Why are you speaking for every single person? That's not their experience.
So let me explain. So if you have an attraction that can be fluid, that is something that you have always had. It's
You don't
not
think your
something that you
attractions
can
can
just
change?
gain by choice. Does that make
Wait, no,
sense?
but your attractions can totally change though.
So, but that's not out of choice, right?
Uh, I wouldn't say your attractions are out of choice, but obviously, like your decisions are out of your choice, right?
Right? But do you understand that that's not out of choice, right? And also, like in terms of this, like again, that was from the baseline. They already were fluid in terms of their. Okay. It's not that they just went from not being
No, no,
fluid
they were
to
straight
being
before.
fluid. Does that make sense?
No, they would have been straight before.
What? That
Yeah, there are definitely gay people in prison right now that when they get out of prison, they will go back to being straight as well. This is just like
so
a
they're
common.
bisexual.
No, they're not bisexual. It's just their environment changed.
Okay, that's still not out of choice. Do you agree? Wait, do you think you can choose to be gay?
No, no, no. I don't think that.
Okay, so then I don't know what your argument is.
I think that very woke families can influence their kids to become trans when they wouldn't have been otherwise.
Yeah, so could you have been influenced to be trans if you grew up with woke parents?
Oh, everyone could have. Yeah.
No. If I grew up with woke parents, I would not have been trans.
Well, then why do we see higher rates of trans children when there is one other trans child in the household? Do you know that? If you have one trans child in the household, it is a much higher possibility that you'll have another sibling who is trans or non-binary.
It's more acceptable.
No, no, it's not just that it's more acceptable. It's that it's almost
Literally,
like
it's out of
encouraged,
acceptance.
basically.
That's like actually
No.
the explanation.
You think people are born trans? Basically, that's insane. There's no evidence to
I
suggest
do
it.
think that there's like like being trans is an innate way of responding to the social and cultural norms that exist in society, the same way that me being a man is my innate way of responding to the social and cultural norms that typically exist in the society.
You define what gender is, by the way. Like, what is gender?
I already
Tell me.
defined it for you.
No, you said what a woman is. You didn't say what gender is.
Well, gender is, again, it's going to be pretty trivial because I already mentioned to you what it is, but it's going to be the commitments to be in accordance with certain sets of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the sexes as a prescription of your gender identity.
Okay, so at the end of the day, it's based on how you feel, right? Because you can
It's
have.
based upon your commitments to be in accordance with certain characteristics as a prescription of gender identity.
Well, for example, like a tomboy
Is your name
is a
based
girl
upon the way
she-
that you feel?
well, my name's assigned at birth, so.
Okay, but like not everyone's name is. Like JD Vance, you call him JD Vance,
Yeah, because
but that's not his name assigned at birth.
Well, it's the nickname probably he grew up with, right? So,
No, he changed his name.
what was his original name?
I mean, I don't actually think that would be a good thing to say. I think you should look it up yourself if you want to do that.
But as I was saying, like a tomboy is a girl who aligns like typically with the characteristics associated with the male sex, right? That doesn't mean they're a boy.
Repeat that?
Like, do you know what a tomboy is? It's a girl who has similar characteristics to that of the male
Yeah,
sex.
they're not in accordance with those characteristics as a prescription of their gender identity, though.
Oh, wait,
Like
their
again, there are
gender
feminine
identity.
men, there are masculine women, and that does not
Yeah.
mean that I'm not saying because you have an expression of a characteristic that makes you that gender. That's not the argument. The argument's the commitment to be in accordance with those characteristics as a prescription of your gender identity. Do you see why I define it the way that I do? It's
Yeah.
also, just to clarify, the way that I establish it is to get especially around the argument that you're mentioning, because I've thought about that before.
Well, I know the way you define it is so abstract that it becomes almost meaningless, basically, because
It's so abstract, everybody.
becomes meaningless.
No, it's just that you don't have a criticism of it. You're just mad
No, my
that you can't
criticism
criticize it. You're mad that
is
you
that-
can't find an easy way to say that I'm wrong. That's why.
no, my
That's
criticism is that
this
anyone
is why
can
my
just say
argument
whatever
is so
gender
strong
they
here,
are.
is because it makes you flop like a fish, bro. Because you don't know how to respond to it, because you don't understand it, because it actually makes sense to you. You're unwilling to acknowledge it. Because
So-
you're so used to dealing with people, right, specifically, that don't know how to explain it, because there's no need to have to explain it, okay? No one needs to be able to explain this. Like, the typical person does not need to have the hyper debate bro explanation that I have. No one has that for, like, a chair, for tables, or for ordinary things in our life. We don't need to have that for what men and women are, for what gender is. These are ordinary concepts that are pretty difficult to define, because it's very, very hard to define necessary and sufficient conditions that will establish gender and sex I actually think it's impossible to do so. If you were to boil down anyone's argument for gender or for sex, for establishing the conditions that establish gender or for sex, no one will be able to establish necessary and sufficient conditions for establishing gender or sex that they actually will end up applying in definition cases. I think it's going to be different depending on the context, right? That's how it's typically going to be.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is that it's based on how you feel, and no one can really define it, right?
I
So,
already defined it. I defined it,
right.
and you're just angry that I provided you that debate
Yeah.
bro
So wait,
definition,
why
and you're
can't
so
I
mad that you
change?
can't get around the debate bro definition that you started complaining about it.
Wait, tell me why can't I change my species? Why can't I align? Why can't I put on a panda costume and become a panda? Why not?
Well, I mean, I think that we could say that, like, for example, like you can for like the representation, but not in literal sense because of the fact that we
Yeah.
use it in a biological sense. We don't refer to animals in solely just a social sense. There is
Well,
no understanding of animals that is typically or commonly understood at all, right? Where people specifically are doing so, right, in a legitimate sense, where it is that they legitimately are that in which is they are representing. Right, like
yeah,
for
and a
example, like
trans.
when I was a kid, I did in like the when I was at church, I played a sheep in the when you did do like Jesus in the manger or whatever, like the three wise men show up and whatnot. You know the whole deal. I played a sheep, right? And
Yeah.
I was a sheep then, but that doesn't mean I was literally a sheep. I was representing a sheep, right?
Yeah, sure. And I believe a trans woman could like pass as a woman, right? If they really trick someone. But that
It's
doesn't
not
mean
about
they
tricking, it's that
literally
they are
are.
a woman. It's because our understanding of
No.
gender isn't solely biological. Your notion of gender is not the only understanding of it. And also, again, there is no understanding of animals where we're specifically going to have a commitment to be in accordance with how animals act, which is then going to literally make me an animal. There is no understanding of that, okay?
Well,
And
we are
what you're
animals.
arguing is that because some social norms operate a certain way, that means all social norms have to operate that way, which is not true. For example, because you can pick your name, does that mean you can pick your gender?
No, because gender reflects
Wait, there you
biological
go. You just
sex.
conceded. You don't think
No,
all
because gender
social
reflects.
constructs operate the same just because they're social constructs?
No. Well, if a social construct is meaningless, right? So if you can change your name eventually becomes basically meaningless. But
Wait, you
you
can
can't
change your
change your
name,
gender.
and it's not meaningless.
Well, the reason you can't change your gender is because
Wait,
like
do
a
you
straight
agree you
man,
can change your name?
yeah, legally you can change
If
your
you
name,
change
right?
your name, does that make your name meaningless?
Well, it could be meaningful to you, but it doesn't reflect any reality.
It does. It reflects the reality of what your identity is, what your name is.
Well, what reality is that?
Your name is
You,
this.
yeah, so that's not telling me what
This is
reality
your
that
this is
is.
your social tag for identification.
Sure, sure. And you could, that doesn't mean it reflects anything in reality. It just
It
is a
is.
social
That's your
construct, right?
social. Wait, so you don't
And
think? Do you think language is within reality?
yeah, it's how we communicate with each other.
Yeah, because that's socially determined. All language is social.
No, it's biological. But yeah, you're right. It is social and
No, it's
cultural.
not. It's
But
social. Okay. Did you just really say language is biological? What type of
no,
fucking stupid
because
bullshit was
humans naturally have the capacity for language, right?
Not all humans. And let me just clarify. Let me just
Well,
clarify. Um,
most, obviously.
wait, we have the capacity to understand and engage with language does not mean that it's biological, specific, that language is biological. We developed, right, we have a biological capability to socially engage in that way. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
but it's based in reality in the way that our brain naturally has a tendency to develop language, right?
Wait, so then if you think that again, gender is just a byproduct of language. It's an aspect of language. So if you think that language can be referred to in that way, so then so is gender, because you
Oh,
can't
because
provide
gender is
any relevant symmetry breaker between the two.
because gender is overwhelmingly dependent on biological sex, besides for a small minority of people who deny that, basically. They have gender dysphoria. So, um,
Wait. That's not what gender dysphoria is. One, and then two. That's not what people who are trans think. Right? You do not deny biological sex because you're trans. You can acknowledge biological sex and be trans.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
trans men
but,
acknowledge they're biologically female. Trans women acknowledge they're biologically male. Right?
well,
We're not saying that when we reference gender. We're referencing specifically, right, the social construct of gender. We're not referencing, right, specifically just biology.
the problem is they call people who don't want to date trans women, right? They call a straight man who doesn't want to date a trans woman transphobic, when obviously that isn't transphobic, right? What do you think about that?
So I mean, it can come from a place of transphobia, but I don't think just because you don't want to date a particular trans person that makes it transphobic. That's not an argument that
What
anyone
if I
uses.
don't?
No one
What,
argues that because you don't find a particular trans person attractive, that then makes you transphobic. That would be a
what if
ridiculous argument.
what if I don't want to date any trans woman?
If you don't want to date any trans woman, well, I
Yeah,
mean, you could
I
just be in
only
a
want to date.
relationship already, right? Technically, you don't want to date anyone else other than the person you're with.
No, no, I'm not in a
That could
real.
be a particular understanding. If you're saying you have a preference against attraction against trans people just because they're trans, I would say I think you're lying.
Wait, I do have a.
I think you're lying. I think I could totally find pictures of trans people that you would find attractive.
No, no, but what if I,
And
for
I
example,
totally
want to have
wait,
children,
and I
right?
don't think that makes you gay or bisexual. You can be straight and you can find trans women attractive.
Well, you could be tricked into thinking they're women, into thinking they
Wait,
possess
so
the
you
traits
still
of the
ended up
female
finding them
sex.
attractive?
Yeah, you would be tricked
When you say
into. But
tricked, that's just cringe. Like that you say tricked. Like they're not tricking you in any means. They're literally a woman,
they don't have the capacity
and
to
you
have
found them
children.
attractive,
They don't
and
have
you're
the
just mad that
capacity
you
to.
found them attracted. Like it's really funny that like
I
you
don't find them
literally are going to
attractive.
be like, oh, but I got tricked. Well, you still found them attractive.
But I don't find them attractive,
You did.
obviously, because
You
I'm
literally
attracted to
did. That's why
real
you said you
biological
quote
women.
unquote got tricked.
No, no, I said I could foresee a circumstance, a rare circumstance where you could be tricked, right? That doesn't mean, that doesn't defeat the overwhelming trends that trans women aren't attractive, right? They're not going to pass, they're not going to attract a straight man.
Wait, there are plenty of trans women that straight men find attractive. I'm confused what your argument is.
No, I disagree, but also
What?
for you to say it's
Wait. So you could make the argument that you couldn't find a single trans person attractive.
well, I think you could find them like attractive, but that would be extremely rare, and it would be
Okay,
dependent
so
on their surgery.
thank you for the concession.
It would be dependent on tricking you,
Wait, so
basically.
thank you for the concession though that you can find a trans person attractive and still be straight, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't
Thank you for the concession.
negate
Okay,
that.
now can we
No,
move on?
but that doesn't negate the overwhelming trend that they're not attractive. But okay, sure, we can move on. What do you want to talk about next?
Wait, you could overwhelmingly not find a whole group of people attractive, but then you find some members of that group attractive, and you still, what? Like for example, right? You could find only a few men attractive, out of all men, and that would still make you bisexual.
No, I don't think that would though.
If you were attracted to some men, only a few men who were like you deemed to be attractive, that makes you bisexual.
Well, you would be overwhelmingly straight though. So
That's
I
still
don't
bisexual though.
think no. Bisexual,
Wait, you
I
understand it's a
don't believe in
spectrum,
these
right?
labels.
It's not just like when you're bisexual, it's not just like 50-50 down the middle. Like
but I don't
what
believe in
that's
these
not what
labels.
being bisexual is.
I don't think anyone is like 100% gay or 100% straight. Like I don't believe or 100% bisexual, right? I don't believe in that.
Whoa, holy shit. Holy shit, what is going on here? So you don't think anyone's 100% straight? I'm 100% straight.
No, but I feel if you went
I'm
to prison, you
100%
would
straight. Like I don't like that's what being straight is. If you aren't
no.
100% straight, that means you're bisexual.
I guarantee you, if you went to prison,
That's
I
like
know for a
literally
fact
what that means, right?
you would probably be attracted to men, bro. You would definitely in prison.
I-
You would. I can tell just based on how you act, basically, right? I can tell.
You're saying if I went to prison I would find men attractive. No. That's not how it works. But dude, wait, Henry, did you just understand what bisexual means? So yes, if you are not 100% straight, then yes, you are going to be bisexual. And by the way, you making this argument tells me you're bisexual. There's nothing wrong with being bisexual at all.
No, but it doesn't.
Like
It's
you're
not the
actually
same
you're
as
actually
like
flabbergasted that I said that you can be 100% straight. Like actually you're kind of flabbergasted, and that's totally fine. That's understanding.
like, for example, you know, like
Understandable.
a kid that is raised by orangutans might end up eventually being attracted to an orangutan, right?
What? Dude, no. What are you
Right?
talking about, bro?
It isn't just based on genetics. It's based on environment.
Oh my god, dude. Wait, are you saying that someone could raise you to be attracted to an orangutan?
If it was like
Are you,
for
are you
a
saying
long period
are
of
you
time.
saying your parents could have raised you to be attracted to orangutans?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That was literally
That's
what your
pretty right.
argument was, by the way.
Listen, the environmental argument for same-gendered attractions is played out in old, okay? Like, when people started to say this in the mainstream forever ago, okay, it was then tested heavily with what? Conversion therapy. We saw conversion therapies pop up around the country, quite frankly, around the world. Why? Because if being gay is driven by environment, then in the right environment, being straight could be driven by environment. and then you could turn
Yeah.
a gay man straight. But
could.
so the thing is that these conversion therapies that put that hypothesis to the test absolutely failed. Every single one of them ended up shutting down. And then the founders of them admitted their crimes against humanity and apologized to members of the LGBTQ+ community and acknowledged that it never worked. Most of these conversion therapies were operated by self-proclaimed ex-gay men saying that their methods worked on themselves. The largest of these being Exodus International that shut down in the early 2000s. And when they shut down, their quote-unquote ex-gay owner said that, he was even still gay and that the conversion therapy didn't work on him and that he was sorry for what he had done. And of course, we see a bunch of lesbian, gay, bi, and queer people come from environments where you just wouldn't naturally expect that outcome given that your hypothesis was true, right? Such as incredibly conservative Christian families. For these reasons and plenty more, I find the environmental argument to be false. Now, maybe you'll say that the environmental argument is true because there's a higher reported level of gay people today than there was 100 years ago, and clearly society is more accepting of gay people today. So maybe the environment of society is just driving more people to be gay as a percentage of the population. But the same thing could be said about people who are self-reportedly left-handed. When we really stigmatized that in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, there was a significantly lower percentage of the population that reported being left-handed. But now that society does not stigmatize being left-handed as much, the overall percentage of the population that quote-unquote is left-handed has skyrocketed. So I think that the issue here is more so people underreporting their sexuality when they're more oppressed, and then feeling more confident in reporting who they are when they're not as oppressed.
Yeah. Well, I think there's both environmental factors and genetic factors. So I think it'd be ignorant to assume otherwise.
So what's the argument that there are environmental factors to being gay?
Oh, well, because everything influences our environment. Our personality is influenced by our environment, and certain personalities are more.
Hey, Henry, if you went to prison, do you think you'd be gay?
Wait, sorry, what?
If you went to prison, do you think you'd become gay?
I mean, that's impossible to know.
I'm asking what you think.
No, I don't think anything.
Also,
don't think
okay. Parker, your question about him being attracted to orangutans would definitely work right now, right? Because you'd say it actually is true that that your environment could make you attracted to like orangutans, to chickens, to dogs.
Yeah, we've seen that.
So you're saying that your parents could have raised you to find dogs attractive?
You're putting no. I'm not saying
No, they
that.
couldn't
Why
have.
are you? No, because I would have been introduced to society. Obviously, right? It's unforeseeable. You can't predict the future, right? But obviously, your environment plays
So
a
to
factor.
clarify, you do think your parents could have raised you to find dogs attractive?
No, I don't. I don't think
No,
that
it's
they
not
could have
possible.
controlled.
Literally not possible, right?
I don't want to say it's not possible.
So it is possible for your parents to raise you to find dogs attractive?
Yeah, a lot of stuff is possible. Like, I don't understand why you're laughing at that because
That's
there
a
are
crazy
kids-
concession, bro. You're
No,
conceding
it's not
that your
even a
parents could
concession.
have raised you to find dogs attractive, bro? That's nuts, dude. That's nuts.
No, I didn't
Dogs,
say
bro.
that they wouldn't.
Dogs.
I said it's like perhaps possible. I don't know the future.
Jesus Christ, bro. Come on. I think I could rule that one out.
You can rule that one out? What do you mean?
Yeah, I think I could totally rule that one out.
Well, I don't understand why you're denying that environment plays a role in your personality. Right, in your life.
It does, but not in terms of
argument.
like you finding like animals attractive, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, I think we're genetically wired to find humans attractive, but obviously it's still possible that your environment could like create a disorder where you find animals attractive, right?
So I just want to clarify here. Would you have any like science or like studies or empirical research here to like demonstrate that one's environment can make them gay?
My point is that environment plays a role in everything, so you can't. There is no
I
way
disagree
to.
with that. Right?
You
Like,
disagree?
I don't think that like for instance the environment that I'm raised in could change the color of my eyes. I don't think that the environment that I'm raised
Well, that's a
in.
physical trait.
Well, how do you know that being gay isn't underpinned by physical traits of like the brain, for instance? Because when we look at the science, we do see that gay men have larger anterior commissures on average compared to straight men, which is the nerve lining between the hemispheres of the brain. We see that they have different levels of particular neurohormones, such as FSH, varying traits of the AI NAH3 subsection of the hypothalamus, varying dendritic densities. And in the same way, there seems to exist dimorphism between the within one's neuroanatomical development. That same thing seems to be true relative to one's orientation.
Yeah. So we've seen like identical twins, for example, one of them can be gay, one of them can be straight. So that refutes the idea that you're born gay. There is no gay gene, understand, right?
So under this view that we have identical twins, one could be gay, one could be straight, well, what we actually do see is a very strong correlate within twins, okay, for
Sure.
the same orientation.
Yeah,
And when we say that, well, we can't identify a physical marker in which is going to be like different dependent on the orientation of the two twins, therefore there isn't a physical marker. Well, what I would just say is that we don't truly understand all of the complexities of neuroscience in the brain. And with our limited understanding of the neurosciences, it seems to be the case that we have identified these correlations. And in the circumstances where we can't see that correlate, I wouldn't say that rules out the notion that being gay is driven by biological underpinnings, but rather we just simply don't understand the biological underpinnings that exist in all cases.
yeah, sure. I think genetics definitely has something to do with it, but to deny that environment also influences your is just ridiculous because of course there are twins where one of them identical twins where one of them is gay, one of them is straight. But sure, there might be a correlation where they're more likely to have the same orientation, right? But that doesn't negate my point. I never said that genetics doesn't play a
Well, the point
part.
that I'm making here is that even in the case of identical twins, right, do we know that they have identical neuroanatomical makeup, right? And like all senses,
Yes.
even the senses that we don't truly understand?
Well, yes, they share the same DNA, exactly.
Well, I guess I'd have to see that because I think it's possible that maybe they have different neuroanatomical makeups. Would you be able to show up a study on that?
Yeah, sure, of course. But I mean, I think it's almost like intuitive because there definitely are identical twins that where one of them's gay, one of them's straight. So
Well, I mean, I'd just like to see that.
Yep.
Yeah, specifically that there's going to be a pair of identical twins where one's gay, one's straight, and they have identical neuroanatomical makeup. How you doing, Parker?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Pretty chill day so far. We're like 2.5 hours into the stream.
Oh,
I was-
you're muted.
Oh, I said pretty good so far. The stream's been pretty good. About 2.5 hours in the stream. I was gonna hop off whenever you wanted to
Yeah.
hop on. So you're cool to go on whenever you want to. By the way,
yeah. So by the
I'm in the middle of setting up my setup.
you're still setting it up. You said.
Geez, man. Yeah, I just got back from taking a stroll around the area.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Well, I'll just hop off whenever you're ready to hop on. So just let me know whenever, and also make sure to respond to my text there real quick as well.
Okay, so scientific consensus says that both environment and genetics play a role in. So
Well, when they say environment, what this could mean is like the neonatal environment of like a mother's womb and the impact that like various
What?
things can have on one's development, right? Like
No.
I like to know what they mean when they say environment.
Yeah, I think
I
what
mean,
they
this
mean
is
is
just,
probably
like-
different than what you mean.
I don't know why you guys are like denying facts. This is pretty. This is an easy consensus, even among like liberals, right? They
Wait,
acknowledge
hold
that
up.
both
Can
environment.
you define what
genetics.
that specific environment means?
Yeah, environment means like the home you were raised up in.
Like, does
Sure.
it mean like
Can
if
we
you
see
have
that,
woke
like, from
parents?
What?
Right, like, because like what they could be referring to here is like the conditions of the womb during neonatal development, or like epigenetics, right? Like
That's
these are
not. That's not just what they're referring to.
Okay,
I
well, so
promise
then
you that's
clarify that.
definitely what it is. It is. I promise you it's not like, oh yeah, if you have woke parents, then yeah, you're definitely gonna be trans.
Right, like so then clarify that, like show it.
Yeah. So it's a PBS study, right? So
What's the
Yeah.
title?
Parker, you can look into it since I'm on my phone.
Yeah, tell me the title. Give him a minute to find this real quick.
it's from
Um,
August 2019. PBS study says there is no gay gene, there is no straight gene, and that's the first part of the title. I don't know the rest.
PBS.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let me click on this right now. publish. Alrighty, here we are. And the results. Where in the results does it say what you're saying? Oh, this one doesn't. You can't click on the full article.
It's from August 2019, so I
You
don't know,
can't
are
read
on
the
there?
full article, so it's literally paywalled. You have to be a part of an individual institution. So we'd have to actually call Matt to be able to open this. You haven't read.
It's literally not paywalled, so I don't know what you're talking
It's
about.
not.
Are you
Yeah,
on?
sorry. It's not paywalled. It's institution walled. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm reading it right now, literally.
Really?
So, yeah.
Really? Are you on science.org? Because that's what they cited. They literally
No,
clicked
no,
on it. You're on the
I'm on
PBS article, my
PBS.org.
guy.
PBS.org.
Yeah, click on the study that the PBS article links you to, genius. Wow.
But you can still read the article. Like, why are you denying
Yeah,
that? I
where
don't
in the
understand.
article does it say specifically that if you have woke parents, you're gonna be trans?
Well, you can just use inferences that are very basic because it says
Where?
there is no gay gene, there's no straight gene.
Yeah. No one's claiming that, but they're claiming specific traits increase the likelihood. So there's no one trait that determines in all scenarios that you're gay, is what they're saying.
Yeah, your environment and your genetics both influence it.
Wait, when you say environment, does it say what environment is?
Do you not know what environment is? Like, this is so
Yeah,
basic.
I do.
Of
I do
course,
know what
environment
environment is.
No,
refers to your upbringing.
Like what we've already said is that what environment can mean is like the conditions of the womb during neonatal development or epigenetics, right? Like those are technically environmental factors, but they wouldn't be environmental in the sense that you're describing of, like, once again, like super duper woke parents. So the reason why we're asking you to like specify specifically what environmental factors this study determines drives homosexuality is for that reason.
Well, I gave you the study, so if you're gonna like deny that environment refers to like your upbringing, that's just ridiculous. But I mean,
No. But it's what specifically is what's relevant.
Yeah. Man, for the last time, my friend.
Yeah, it literally says non-social environmental influences, social environment, genetic social environment. That's what it
oh,
says.
so social environment too?
Well, it says genetic social environment and non-social environment. That's what it says,
It
actually.
also says social environment.
Nope.
Like, you just read social environment.
Yes, it says these include hormonal, genetic, social, environmental, and non-social environmental influences. It's saying genetic social environment.
And you guys are really an echo chamber that just try to cherry pick everything to try to disprove your guess. It's crazy.
No, hey dude, we're literally just trying to tell you that the way that you're using environment is different than the way that it's typically. It says, for instance, the trait that, to the extent of the trait that is not genetic, it is caused by the environment, not by free will. Is a trait that is caused by events occurring after birth, not by free will.
Yeah, I never said being gay is caused by like free will. I just said it also is influenced by your upbringing, like the way you were raised.
Yeah, but does it specifically list that the environmental differences, such as like having woke parents, makes you like more gay? Is that your argument? Because the notion
No.
here is that you're just more accepted, not that you are more likely to literally be gay.
No, I never said that we can scientifically prove having woke parents makes you gay, but we can scientifically prove that your upbringing environment, like through childhood, has an impact.
Wait, repeat what you just said.
Like, you can scientifically prove your childhood upbringing has an impact on your.
In what way is the question?
Well, I don't know, but
Like,
it
what about
has an
what about the
influence.
environment? And like, because your claim is, oh, because it says environment is a part of this, that then means I can then say all aspects of environment, including, right, me having gay parents, for example. Me having gay parents is going to cause me to be gay. Do you have any study that demonstrates
I
having
didn't say
gay
it's gonna-
parents causes you to be gay, for example?
So I never said this.
Okay, wait, so to
Please.
clarify, you don't think that the basis that you were referring to in terms of environment had anything to do with people being raised to be gay or trans? Is that not what you brought up? Exactly?
No, I brought up that your environment plays a role.
Yeah.
Depends
Alright,
on
is
the
there anything else you
E.
environment.
want to talk about or add?
Yeah, like maybe E.G. and Carroll. I don't know. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can.
Wait, is that vegan teacher in the chat? Oh my god. That's crazy. You know that vegan teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Yeah, she's. What do you think about vegans? Why are you guys not vegan?
Do you want to like answer my question? Are you vegan?
Yes, I'm vegan.
Cool for you. Can you answer the question now?
What was your question?
What were we just talking about? Were we just going to talk about E. Jean Carroll?
Yeah, E.G. and Carroll. Yeah, she's kind of a liar, don't you think?
No. Can you name one lie? Prove one lie she engaged in?
Yeah, she said that Trump like raped her, right?
I'm waiting for one lie you can prove that she lied about.
Well, I can't prove anything for a fact, but I just think it's no. But you can't
He
prove anything
claims
for a
she's
fact.
a liar, but I can't prove it. I can't prove it actually, but she's a liar.
I can give
okay?
you evidence.
I'm just gonna say it, okay? I promise you that.
Do you know what she said on the Anderson Cooper video?
Yes, I do know what she said.
Yeah, she
What
said
do you think she said?
She said most people think of rape as being sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I disagree.
know.
I don't think most people think that, but she's not saying herself. She's saying other people think that, which perpetuates rape culture.
I don't know. It kind of implied that she thought that, but
Wait,
still.
wait, no, it does not imply that she thinks that.
I mean, it could.
It's
You don't know.
it's very dishonest that you try to portray that as saying that she was saying that she thinks that herself. No, not even close. If you actually watch it, the whole context, it tells you that she was talking about other people, not herself.
Yeah, she also said that she and Trump were hot for each other. She said that she wasn't a victim.
She explicitly said right before that it's not, didn't she?
Yeah, she said her rape was not.
Yeah, it was not.
Yeah, and she also said she wasn't a victim.
Wait, no, she said she doesn't want to consider herself a victim in her head because she wasn't thrown on the ground and ravished, right? But that doesn't mean that she isn't a victim. That's just the propaganda that she was talking about in society that gets her to believe that she's not a victim or to victim blame herself. That's what she was talking about. You're misunderstanding how she's using these terms. She's not claiming that she's not a victim. She's claiming that she didn't feel like it because of these understandings that she had prior about how quote unquote rape is supposed to look.
Yeah, well, I think
right?
you're
She said it
interpolating.
hurt.
You don't know for a fact that that's what she meant.
That's exactly what
So-
she meant. She described. If you actually watch the interview, she described exactly what she meant.
Well, you don't know for a fact that
I
that's
do
exactly
because
what
I
she
watched the interview. Because I do because I actually read into what she's speaking about. I do because I looked over the transcript. I do because I actually care about fundamentally understanding what she's saying rather than just trying to represent what she's saying for a political talking point.
So she also said that she.
I
and Trump
described
were
to you
hot
all of
for-
these things because I've actually looked at it myself. You're only bringing these things up because you can try to make it seem like she's a liar or try to make it seem like she's crazy, which none of those things are true. You've been proven wrong. Trump has been held liable unanimously by a jury of 9 people. There's been an appeal. He lost it. There was another one. He lost it. Okay?
And
He's
now they're
lost his
investigating
appeals.
her.
He's lost in the court, and you're coping. Okay? You can't acknowledge it. You can't bring up a single thing
Wait,
that you
no,
think she lied
she's
about
not-
when
he
I can
lost
tell
in the
you
court.
things that Donald Trump explicitly lied about. Donald
Okay,
Trump
but-
committed perjury.
Okay, but Carroll said she and Trump were hot for each other. She then said that her rape wasn't. But whatever, forget about that. She also
when you
couldn't remember.
when you say that she said that they were hot for each other.
She said that. Yeah.
Can you explain to me how consenting to prior actions then consents to all actions later on, or that how you think that there
No.
can't be a revoking of consent at any point in time?
No, I just think she was like contradicting herself in the interview, right?
That's not contradicting yourself. Revoking consent is not contradicting yourself, dumbass.
Well,
I
she
hate
also
people
said
like you. Go f yourself. If you think revoking consent is contradicting yourself,
No, I
you
never
are
said
literally
that.
engaging in a mentality right now. That's disgusting, actually. Think about what you just said. You just said it was contradicting
say?
herself for her to literally revoke consent. Seriously,
No.
think about what disgusting shit just came out of your mouth. That's honestly gross as f.
Yeah, so that's not what I said at all.
That is
but-
exactly what you just said. Then tell me what you said then. What'd you say?
Yeah, I said she was like acting kind of like a lunatic, contradicting herself in the interview in certain ways, and yeah.
What did I say that you said?
I said that like revoking consent.
Was contradictory.
revoke
and
consent.
you were saying that. Do you want me to play it back?
Yeah, play it back.
What a dishonest piece of shit. You can't acknowledge it. You need me to go back and play. This is crazy, bro. We're going to do it. We're going to do it because you're an
Also-
annoying piece of shit.
Also,
Because
she
I
waited
watched
until
the interview
Trump was
because I do,
president.
because I actually read into what she's speaking about. I do because I looked over the transcript. I do because I actually care about fundamentally understanding what she's saying rather than just trying to represent what she's saying for a political talk.
So she also said that she.
I
and Trump were
described to you
hot
all of
for-
these things because I've actually looked at it myself. You're only bringing these things up because you can try to make it seem like she's a liar or try to make
Yeah,
it
you're
seem
embarrassing.
like she's crazy, which none of those things are true. How? You've been proven wrong. Trump has been held liable unanimously by a jury of 9 people. There's been an appeal. He lost it. There was another one. He lost it. Okay?
And
He's
now they're
lost his
investigating
appeals.
her.
He's lost in the court, and you're coping. Okay? You can't acknowledge it. You can't bring up a single thing
Wait,
that you
no,
think she lied
she's
about
not-
when
he
I can
lost
tell
in the
you
court.
things that Donald Trump explicitly lied about. Donald
Okay,
Trump
but-
committed perjury.
Okay.
Look,
But E.G.
constantly
Carroll said she
interrupting
and
me.
Trump were hot for each other. She then said her rape wasn't. But whatever, forget about that. She also
when you
couldn't
say
remember.
that they were when you say that she said that they were hot for each other.
She said that.
Can
Yeah.
Can you explain to me how consenting to prior actions then consents to all actions later on, or that how you think that there
No.
can't be a revoking of consent at any point in time?
No, I just think she was like contradicting herself in the interview, right?
That's not contradicting yourself. Revoking consent is not contradicting yourself, dumbass.
Well,
I hate
she also
people
said,
like you. Go fuck yourself. If you
yeah. When
It's
did
true.
I ever say that revoking consent is doesn't matter? I
What
never
was
said that.
contradictory?
The fact that she was saying all these different things in the interview and she was acting like a lunatic.
What was contradictory? Be specific.
Oh yeah, the fact that she said her like rape wasn't sexual, and then she said she wasn't a victim, and then she said she and Trump were hot for each other, and then she said rape is sexy or whatever. And
Wait.
yeah.
So her claiming that they specifically they were interested in each other prior, that then means that she wasn't assaulted?
No.
How is that
She could still
contradictory?
be assaulted if they were
How is that
interested
contradictory?
prior. No, I think she could revoke consent, and that would mean she's still right.
So let's clarify. They could have the hots for each other in the past, and then that goes away, and she revokes consent, and that's not contradictory, right?
No, that's not.
So why did you bring that up as contradictory?
Well, I just brought it up as like she was saying a lot of lunatic things, basically.
So what was lunatic about literally saying that you revoked consent?
She never said she revoked consent.
She
by
did.
The way. So
You don't think in the Anderson Cooper interview she said
I
that
don't
she
think-
revoked consent?
I didn't
Are you
hear her say
serious?
that, but I didn't hear her say that, but maybe
Really,
she did.
you
I
should
don't
go
know.
back and watch the interview. She described it the whole time. The fact that you didn't see that either means that you have terrible comprehension skills, or you purposefully didn't watch it and you're just trying to lie about it right now.
Well,
You
I
didn't
did
watch this
it.
shit. If you watched it, you would have known that. What are you talking about?
Well, I did watch it, obviously.
are
'cause I know all the
are you a
facts.
Christian?
No.
No, you're not. Why is there a cross in your profile picture?
I don't know. It's kind of like I just like the profile picture.
It's a cross in your profile picture. So you think Jesus Christ is not God?
No, I don't think he's God.
Okay. Are you religious at all?
I mean, I like the Bible.
But are you religious?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, what religion?
I don't adhere to a religion. I just like sometimes like going to church or whatever. I don't know.
Okay, but like, do you believe in religion?
No, not really. I think it's kind of made up, but I think it also is pretty wise sometimes.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just gonna be like, yo, can you like swear? But like, I mean, you have nothing to swear on, so I'm not Christian, but like, I was just gonna see, because like, if you swear in your Bible, maybe it would mean a little bit more to you. But I don't believe you. I think you're lying. You didn't watch it.
Wait, but on God, I did watch it. How would I know that she
What do
said
you mean
these
on
things?
God? I don't care that you said that. You're literally an atheist. Shut up, dude. I don't give a shit that you just said that.
Well, I mean, I did watch the interview, but on YouTube.
You did not just say. You just said on God, bro. I swear, bro, on God. Come on, bro. You're literally not Christian. What is that even supposed to mean?
Well, I'm just telling the truth. That's what it means.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't think you are.
Okay, but still,
You didn't
you
watch
don't
it, and I
think
think
that-
I think that you've demonstrated that on the stream.
you don't think it's relevant that she didn't remember like the year it happened? that she
1995 to 1996 is within 1 year.
Yeah, she didn't remember the year it happened, as I said.
I
and
just told you she did. Within 1 year, 1985 to 1996 is within 1
Wait,
year.
aren't those two different years?
1995 to 1980. For example, if we're talking about basketball, the 1995 to 1996 season, is that 1 or 2 years?
Oh, that's 2 years.
One
season.
It's 1 season, bro. It's 1 year. Dude, it's okay. You're not understanding. If I take 1 year is 12 months, right?
It's January to December.
Oh, okay, so
No, that's a calendar year. So
Yeah.
the definition of a year is just 365 days. Like that's what a year is, right? So like that's
No,
why
yeah,
that's
the
not the
fact
only
that I had to
definition.
tell him what a year is crazy.
and that's why if I were to ask you, well, how much time passed before the start of your freshman year of high school and the start of your sophomore year of high school, you'd say a year passed, even though that container 365 days didn't start January 1st and end December 31st. Or, for instance, if on every second month of April, right, I go out to California for a vacation, and then someone would ask me, when was the last time you were here? And I said, a year ago, right? Well, that's because a year is 365 days. Or take Christmas, okay? Right? Every year, your dad gets you a bottle of whiskey for Christmas, and then your new
What?
girlfriend asks you, well, when's the last time that your dad got you a bottle of whiskey? And then you say, well, a year ago,
Bottle
last
of whiskey?
Christmas. Well, that's because definition of a year is 365 days.
No, that's
No,
well,
actually,
a year also
Dean,
refers
on
to
New
like
Year's, the next day, he would think it's actually like the right way to say this is that yes, last year we kissed before, or like if you're talking to your significant other, we kissed before the New Year's thing. If you're talking to your significant other, right?
Right,
yeah.
and like
You think that's
on my
reasonable to say
birthday,
that's your significant other?
or like look at your birthday, like
Yeah, it's
today's
like
my birthday. Somebody asked me when was your last birthday? They'd say a year ago, right, because a year is 365 days. What you're referring to would be a calendar year, and you're equivocating
yeah.
between the use of the phrase
Well,
calendar
no, you can
year
use a
and
year
the
to
word
refer
year.
to a calendar year.
But you could also just use a year to refer to a block of 365 days, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
do you
sure.
agree that it could just be a block of 365 days?
That's not typically what it's referred to, though. It's referred to like a
I'm
calendar
gonna
year.
kick this kid. Are you what? That
Yeah,
is
that's-
exactly how it's typically used. What are you talking about?
1995 is a year, right?
So there's
You don't.
definitely typical usage of the word. So I'd say that both of these two usages
typical
are
usages.
quite typical. They're both typical. Like I just gave you a bunch of examples, right? Like listen, Henry, if I tell you the last time I was at the beach was a year ago, what would you interpret that statement to mean?
I would interpret it to mean like it was in 2025, right?
So if it's January of 2026, okay, and I tell you that the last time I was at the beach was a year ago, you'd argue that typically the usage of that word year could be inferencing to you, it could be inferring to you that maybe I could have been at the beach like a week ago in December of 2025. Like that's clearly
You-
not.
you
that's
could-
clearly not the case.
People do that, but you probably
It's-
wouldn't.
It's like
So
clearly
by the
not
way,
case.
we could be referencing the same thing if you said a week ago and a year ago at the same time. Let's just clarify. That's what he's saying.
Right.
So tell
Yeah,
me,
you're
what
saying
is
that- you're
last
saying
year?
that the
Tell me
phrase
what.
a week
Hey,
ago
hey.
and
Tell me
the
what does
phrase,
last year mean?
a
What
year
does last
ago
year?
would be used interchangeably.
No, he's not just saying last year. He's saying a year ago.
Right.
Okay, but what does last year mean?
Well, that's a typical usage that would be indexed to like a calendar year.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Last
a
year
year can
typically
refer to a calendar year.
Right.
Yes,
but it
a
could
year
also
can refer to a calendar year, but can also
365
refer to this.
Oh my God!
Right, like,
it's almost like there are
just
multiple
saying here-
definitions.
We're just saying here that like like this word year is not a univocal term, and you could use it in like two typical senses of a calendar year and a container of 365 days. So when we tell you that she identified the year she was raised in, right? We're telling you that she identified a container of 365 days that she was raised.
Okay, but there are also multiple definitions. So, but still, that doesn't mean you know for a fact she's telling the truth. Okay, like
Well, now you're just shifting the goalpost because your contention was Eugene Carroll was a liar because she couldn't identify the year she was raised in.
no.
But now that we've described to you that she has, well, now you're just saying, although she could identify the year that she was raised in, I still believe she was a liar. Do you understand how that's shifting the goalpost of your argument?
Who can say where the road goes, where the day goes? This guy's got no argument. He's cooked.
Wait, do you think that Eugene Carroll would have won the case if it was in Florida or something? Like, I think it was a biased jury.
What
Don't
is
you
this
think?
pivot?
Well,
Nice pivot.
Donald Trump's lawyers actually said otherwise. So I think it was juror number 4 was a big fan of Tim Pool, said that Tim Pool is his favorite political commentator and that he was a good centrist voice. Meanwhile, of course, Tim Pool is pretty far to the right. So then Eugene Carroll's attorneys opted to get this juror ejected because of political bias. But then Donald Trump's more expensive attorneys were like, no, actually, no political bias is found in the jury. Please don't kick this juror off, Mr. Judge. And then the judge sided with Trump's attorneys. So we know that there's people in the jury who, according to Trump, weren't biased. And according to me and Parker, we're biased, but towards Trump.
They obviously weren't biased towards Trump because they convicted him. So obviously they weren't.
Well, that's obviously a terrible argument because the goal of jury selection isn't to find a jury without a bias, but it's rather to find a jury that's willing to set their bias aside to just simply extrapolate the facts of the court case. You're essentially saying here, right, that, well, they're not biased towards Trump because they convicted him. You're essentially saying that if you have a bias towards Trump, i.e. you support Trump, then you necessarily have to deny that he's a racist.
I think they definitely had a bias against Trump because they awarded her like $80 million. It was insane for like think of all the other victims that have gotten basically way less or
Well, that's actually
nothing at all.
not true. They didn't award her $80 million for you're wrong.
No, for defamation, right? Later.
Yeah, there you go. Defamation.
Yeah, don't you think that would have been biased, right?
Why would that be biased? He's a billionaire. She could go for
Oh.
more money because he has more money.
Because she first of all said she shouldn't be treated as like a real victim in the Anderson Cooper video.
I mean, look,
second of all,
you could miscontextualize like her statements all that you want, but if you listen to the clip she's talking about, she doesn't like to call herself a real victim because it was 3 minutes, and I tried to fight back, and there's other women who like live through SA like every single day of their lives.
yeah, and those other women don't really get much money
This
from
is a
juries.
complex trauma response that we don't just see from E. Carroll. We see it from a lot of people. Like, I mean, have you seen like a recent trend towards calling survivors of SA survivors instead of victims? Well, it's because many victims of SA don't like to call themselves victims. They rather opt to call themselves survivors. So it's really strange of you to use a complex trauma response from a victim of rape against that victim of rape. Not to mention, if she made this story up, then why would she say something that could be misconstrued and taken out of context on public air? No, I think that was a moment of honesty and vulnerability about the experience she lived through. And if she was this bold-faced liar that could keep up the lie and the con for so long, I don't think she'd ever risk saying something that could be miscontextualized by apologists such as yourself, such as Trump, such as Donald Trump's legal defense, such as the entirety of the GOP.
Yeah, I just think she's a lunatic, honestly.
But you can't actually give any actual justification for that. So we can prove to you that Donald Trump
Well,
has
I did,
lied,
but
but
you
you
didn't
can't
listen,
prove
but-
that Eugene Carroll has lied. Yet you'll claim that she's crazy for no reason.
You did try to give justification for your claim that she's a lunatic. I was able just to, defeat all of your justification. And then inevitably, after I did defeat all of your justification,
Wait, no, you didn't.
just like reduced yourself back down to your original claim.
No, you didn't, because I've given other justification. Like the way she behaved in that interview just signals she is a lunatic. And if you look at
I actually
the
just got
people who
done,
watched the interview,
going over your description of what signal you think in that behavior what behavior you think in that interview signal that she's a lunatic, and I just responded to it all, and then you essentially like conceded to my explanation because you didn't respond to my explanation. You just repeated your original claim that she's a lunatic.
well, you didn't refute. By the way, you didn't refute anything I said because she didn't remember the year she was raped, right? But
Well, you actually already conceded on that notion, because you conceded that one of the two main typical usages, I guess usages is a word. If it's not, kill me. Whatever.
You just say uses.
Uses. There we go. That one of the main two typical uses of the word year is a container of 365 days, and she did identify a container of 365 days that she was raped in.
okay, well, why did she take I think 25 years after he ran for president, became president, to come forward? Just wondering.
Yeah. So I just want to clarify here. You do concede on the year argument, right?
Well, no, because I was using a year as in a calendar year.
So you don't concede on the year argument.
Well, I agree it was within a container.
Just to clarify, do you affirm that one of the main two uses of the word year would be in reference to a container of 365 days? A great example of this being, if it's January of 2026 and I tell you the last time I was at the beach was a year ago, well, I'm saying that the last time I was at a beach was approximately 365 days ago. I'm not saying that the last time I was at the beach was in 2025, right? Or else saying that you were at a place a year ago could be used identically. Saying that you were at a place like a day ago, right? Imagine it's the first day of 2026 and you were at the beach on December 25th.
Well, it
of
wasn't a day ago.
2025.
It was definitely not within a day period. It was within over 300 days, right? So I was using years in calendar year, so I wasn't.
Well, as long as it's under 365 days, then she did identify a year that she was raped in per the typical usage of the word year.
Not typical, just one of the usages, but okay.
No, typical. I think that you'd just be extraordinarily dumb to say that that's not a typical usage, right? Would you, like, for instance, if the last time I was at a beach was 365 days ago, would it be typical, given the English language, for me to say that the last time I was at the beach was a year ago?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then you do concede that a very typical usage of the word year is to refer to a container of 365 days, right? Like that's a concession that you're willing to grant, because just less than 30 seconds ago, you argued that it wasn't typical. But now I just gave you an example of how it is typical. So could you please concede?
No. Why would I be conceding? I've never disagreed with that. That it's
No, you did. No, you
one
did. You
usage.
just said, well, it's a usage, but it's not a typical usage. Well, we just demonstrated
No.
that it is a typical usage.
What I meant is it isn't like more commonly used than calendar year, right? So
What? So I just want to clarify. You've never heard somebody say that the last time they did this thing, participated in an action, or visited a location was a year ago, referring to 365 days? Like
I think that's
like,
real.
You just okay, but you just don't hear that in your day-to-day life. That's the way that we use the word all the time, man. Like
Yeah.
unironically, right? Like you know, we probably use the word year to refer to a container of 365 days just as frequently, if not more frequently, right, than referring to a calendar year. But like, regardless of the frequency, as long as you could agree that that's the typical usage of the word, okay, well then given the typical usage of the word, we could identify a year that she was in. And you're just being extraordinarily bad faith because your ego's too big to just understand that you're wrong here and to concede.
Well, that's one of the typical usages, right?
Okay. So then earlier when you said it wasn't, you were wrong.
If I said that, then I must have misspoke. But
Perfect. So now, given one of the typical uses of the word year, you agree that Eugene Carroll was able to identify a year that she was raised in, correct?
yeah, but not the calendar year.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So then, all that I'd say here is it seems completely arbitrary and meaningless to expect a victim of rape to be able to identify the calendar year she was raised in, right? And given that she could identify a year she was raised in, there's going to be no meaningful distinction.
Well, I think
What's the meaningful distinction?
the meaningful distinction is that she didn't remember like the exact month or anything, right?
Wait, well, we're not talking about a month. We're talking
No.
about a year. You said that she couldn't remember the year. So what's
Yeah,
the
she
meaningful
couldn't.
distinction between Eugene Carroll, okay, remembering the year, i.e. a container of 365 days, or remembering the calendar year, i.e. a specific container of 365 days that starts on January 1st? What's the meaningful distinction between those two things?
I think I wouldn't say there's like a meaningful distinction. I just say there's a distinction.
Oh, okay. So if there's no meaningful distinction, well, then it seems like the necessary conditions of your argument have been fulfilled, given that she could identify a container of 365 days she was raised. Therefore, you concede the position that Eugene Carroll was a liar because she couldn't identify the year. Because all meaningful criteria of your argument have been met.
I didn't say she was a liar because she couldn't identify the year. I said she's a lunatic because she waited like 25 years until Trump ran for president solely.
Oh, okay. So then
to
what
go
was the
after.
relevance of you bringing up the claim that she couldn't remember the year? What was the relevance of that claim, Henry?
Yeah, it helps my point because it's true. She couldn't remember the calendar year.
What specific point does it help?
The fact that she's like took so long, she like kind of lost her memory of the situation.
Well, that's obviously right. That's not going to be like a main point. So, would you say it helps the point that she was a liar?
No, I don't think it helps the point that she was a liar. I never said she was.
So then, what's the point that it helps?
Oof.
What like so like the claim that she couldn't remember the year? That's going to serve as like a data point of evidence for like some like claim. So for what claim does that serve as a data point of evidence?
The point of evidence is that she didn't have a very good memory of the time, right?
Oh, okay. All right. So then you concede that you concede that data point of evidence, given that there's no meaningful distinction between the ability to identify a container of 365 days and the ability to identify the calendar year, right? Because you already acknowledge that there's no meaningful distinction. So all meaningful criteria have been met.
Well, why doesn't she remember the month? You know, I mean.
Okay. So before you shift the goalposts, do you concede that point?
Like you're such a biased person. I swear you.
Well, Henry, I think that you're just crashing out because you acknowledge that there's no meaningful distinction here, right? So all meaningful criteria, right, of your position have been met here, given her ability to identify a container of 365 days she was raped in, right? Like I understand that you would just want to, oh, Dean, you're biased. Listen, man, I know that I'm frying your shit. All right, but let's try not to get emotional, buddy. Just breathe.
But it doesn't fry my point. Like, sure, yeah, she remembered the 365-day period.
Well, it does fry
So
your
what?
point because you explicitly said that there's no meaningful distinction between an ability to identify the container of 365 days and an ability to identify a calendar year, right? You said
Okay.
you said that there's no meaningful distinction between those two things. So given that she was able to do one of those two things, right, it satisfied the conditions for your argument of her not having a hazy memory. It's just simply the adjacent claim to your original point.
Yeah. I also think you should be able to remember more than just the year, right?
Okay, so
So
now this is where we're going to shift the goalpost. So I'll just go to throw the point back to Parker, since like seemingly you're conceding by like frivolous attempts to shift the goalpost. That's fine.
so like I don't understand. How do you know she's telling the truth? Like you guys are just so biased. You're just believing her because you hate Trump. That's my point, obviously.
No, we're believing
But
her
you're
because the
denying that.
evidence supports what she's saying, right? You believe Trump just because it's Trump. Literally, you don't believe her just because it's against Trump.
Because I think she has motivation to kind of lie, basically.
But you haven't been able to actually demonstrate that. And
Well, I don't
having
think anyone
motivation to
knows.
lie does not mean she has lied. You went from literally arguing she is a liar to arguing she has the motivation to lie. Does Trump not have the motivation to lie?
Uh,
Yeah?
I
Yeah?
see. I never said she was.
Does Trump have the
intentionally-
motivation to lie?
Sure, not as much as her.
Oh, okay. Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Really? So you don't think that he has more of a motivation to lie when he's running for president of the United States?
He was already present when she came forth, right?
But he's
So,
running again.
So what? He was already present when. we
So
came
what?
forth.
That's a motivation to lie. Also,
Sure.
right? Like I just want to clarify: all races, regardless of context, are going to have a motivation
Exactly.
to lie about not.
Yeah. Well, he said he never knew her, so I don't know.
But that was proven
And then
wrong.
that
There's
was
a
proven
picture of
wrong.
them shown together.
Damn.
He said that he wouldn't have abused her because she's quote unquote not his type, but then in a deposition mistook her with his ex-wife, indicating he would have abused her either way.
Yeah, well,
so
I
he proved he
really-
lied. I just gave you evidence he lied, and you're just going to completely ignore that. But if that same sort of evidence were true to demonstrate that Eugene Carroll lied, you'd be using that as your main argument as to why this didn't happen.
Well, I don't know what happened, man. I mean, like, I
Well,
don't.
You're such a TDS cult member. Like literally,
Oh, wait, but how do
Trump
you know what
devotion
happened?
syndrome. You
How do
love
you
him
know?
so much. There's nothing that we could point to as evidence that you would then accept.
Why are
Dean,
you
by the way,
acting like-
if you want to hop on live, by the way, make sure to do so if you want to.
So why do you think that Trump is a bad person, but you're not?
I'm not a.
Wait, but you.
I didn't try to
pay-
undermine our democracy. I didn't try to.
You pay-
I didn't call for the termination of our constitution. I didn't brag about walking to the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without consent, where two 18-year-olds came out and said there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms. I didn't go up to a 10-year-old girl and say I'd be dating her in 10 years.
Okay, but you pay for the rape and murder of animals.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ, dude! The comparison is nuts, dude. Dean,
Wait, how is
you
it?
hear this,
We
bro?
are animals. How is it a crazy comparison?
bro.
You're just a species.
Donald Trump is not a vegan. Do
You
you
just
agree?
con-
He
you
just
just
tried. He
conceded
just tried
one.
to make fun of Talarico for not being vegan. I mean, for being vegan. Which, by the way, Talarico's not even vegan.
Who is
Right.
what?
So seemingly under your view, not only does Donald Trump pay for the rape and murder of animals, but he also rapes women himself.
Yeah,
Well,
and you're
I
defending
just,
that
I
right
don't
now.
know if that's true though.
So by the way, he's literally going to sit there and say that he doesn't believe E. Jean Carroll no matter what, and then at the same time sit
No.
there and try to like portray that we're horrible people. Like that's so
I don't believe her
embarrassing.
because she took like 25 years to come forward when she had and she made so much money.
Wait,
from
do
this.
you value human beings more than you do non-human animals?
I value sentient beings. I'm not a species.
Wait, so you value all sentient beings equally?
No.
Okay. So you value humans more than non-human animals.
Well, I would value some animals more than humans. Some. More than some humans. More than some humans, right?
Okay, be specific. Which ones are you referencing?
Like, for example, would I rather have like a 97-year-old person in a coma die or a beautiful like orangutan die that can suffer? I don't know, right?
You'd rather a person die in that scenario?
A 97-year-old
I thought you were going to
person
bring
in a
up like
coma.
criminals, not like grandparents. Like Jesus Christ!
But like a
You'd
97-year-old
rather
person
someone in a
coma.
coma die than like literally an orangutan.
Because they can't suffer.
Jesus.
That's
Hey,
a
listen,
crazy
Parker.
thing, bro.
Well, you're just specious, obviously.
Of course I am.
And yeah,
Of
that's
course
gonna
I
be-
am. Like, wait, are you not? Like, do you think a pig is just as valuable as a baby?
Well, I think we have the natural instinct to protect a baby, but I don't see like a
But do
moral.
you think that a pig is just as? Would you rather save 2 pigs or 1 baby?
Well, my instinct would make me want to save the baby, but if you were rational,
Okay, you'd rather
if you were
save the
rational,
baby,
you'd save
right?
No, if you were rational, you'd probably want to save the pigs, probably. I don't know.
Wait, if you're rational, you wouldn't save the pigs, you said?
No, you would save the pigs, but if you're going on your instinct,
You're saying
you'd
you're
save the baby.
irrational for saving the baby?
Yeah,
Your
because
position is
the
that it's
pigs would
irrational to
suffer
save a
more.
newborn baby from burning alive over two pigs?
Hey, you could have been born as a pig, so I don't know why. You really could have. So
Okay,
why are you
okay, bro.
discriminating?
Okay, you could have been born as a pig, bro. Okay, I'm still gonna save the newborn baby over the
That's
the
'cause of
two
your
pigs, and I
instincts.
think that's the rational decision: is to save the newborn baby over the two pigs.
So what gives a human being moral
Come
value?
on,
then?
bro. You're being ridiculous. All of us. You can be vegan and still be speciesist. Okay? You absolutely
No.
should be speciesist. It is literally crazy to not be speciesist. Like actually nuts. Like and
Would you
I'll
rather?
keep running this down. Would you rather save 2 shrimp or 1 newborn baby?
Oh, a newborn baby.
Okay, what about 10 shrimp or 1 newborn baby?
The newborn baby, because
Okay.
that
Wait, is it
the
rational for you to
sentience
do that?
outweighs. Yeah, because the baby's sentience just outweighs, and the
The baby's
relationships
sentience
that baby
outweighs.
has.
Oh, so then you'd rather save 1 pig over 2 newborn babies because a pig has more sentience under your view than a
No.
newborn?
I don't think there's any objective like line where it's subjective.
Yeah, of course, and I'm asking you based upon your
comparisons.
subjective position. Wait, if it's subjective, by the way, you understand that's speciesist, right? Like
No,
you're,
no,
like when
because-
you're saying it's subjective there, you were literally just arguing that, like, yes, it is, speciesism is justified,
no,
just to a
because
certain
it
extent.
depends. It depends on the sentience of the animal.
Oh, okay, and that's okay. So, are you speciesist though at all?
I mean, my instincts probably are. Yeah.
Would you
but
rather? Okay,
I
so
don't
how about this? Would you rather save a more sentient pig or a less sentient baby?
I mean, probably the more sentient pig, right? But I think that would hurt the parents of the baby, right?
Dude, that's like crazy talk. You understand that like adult pigs are like more sentient than like 3-year-olds.
Yeah, a pig is a more sentient than a 3-year-old.
Wait, so by the way,
Interesting.
would it be justified just to all babies? Because inevitably speaking, it's likely that they're going to eat some bacon in the future, so inevitably we'll save more animals.
No, because
Oh my
Then-
god.
Wait,
then
so
you're like
now,
an acceleration.
now he's not pro-life anymore. Now abortion's actually the right thing to do. Actually, everybody, you're preventing animals from being
Wait,
killed in
but
the future.
you guys
everybody.
are
Most
right?
most people do eat animals, so you're preventing these pigs from dying in the future. Actually, so if you'd rather save the pig over the newborn, I think you then think abortion's justified. Woo!
But you guys are like killing babies though, right? So
What?
why are you guys are killing babies?
It's not babies.
Wait,
So
wait, wait.
They're not.
Your
They're not
view is
people
changed.
until sentience.
Wait. Your
Exactly.
view is pro abortion because you believe that sentience is what's of moral worth, and clearly fetuses don't have that until
Yeah,
they're
that's true.
Yeah. I would be, but I'm pointing out your contradiction that you would.
Wait, so you're
value, like, a-
pro-choice, but then you don't vote for pro-choice legislation when we're talking about Congress and the government,
Well, I don't believe Roe v. Wade is correct.
even though you want federally protected access to abortion.
I don't think it should be federal. It should be up to the states.
You think human rights should be up to the state?
How is it a human right to have
You don't think
justifiability?
the right to
That's-
bodily autonomy is a human right?
Yeah, and that one's really easy to make. We'd argue that it's a human rights violation to infringe on somebody's bodily autonomy unless you have sufficiently good reason to do so. Examples of infringing on somebody's bodily autonomy without sufficiently good reason to do so could look like kidnapping or slavery. Now, if you accept that therefore it's a human rights violation to infringe on somebody's bodily autonomy without sufficiently good reason to do so, and you accept that there's not sufficiently good reason to do so in the context of abortion, which would be trivially true given your pro-choice perspective, then you would
Okay.
accept that it's
Hello.
a human rights
Hello.
violation
I'm
to
speaking.
deny a woman's access to abortion. And given that you accept that's a human rights violation, if you accept that human rights should be protected at the federal level, then you think that access to abortion should be protected at the federal level.
I don't think it is proportional force for a 19-week-old fetus to be killed because the mother just wants to have an elective abortion. That's not proportional.
But it's not sentient.
Well, actually, it's closer to sentience, and it's not sentient
Don't you
at
care
20
about the
weeks
more
either.
sentient being?
Yeah, the more sentient being, but I don't think she has justification to have an elective abortion at that time.
Okay. So by the way, like, there's no justification for elective abortion, but that would save animal lives.
No, I think you could have an elective
But like,
abortion. at,
you're not
like,
considering
2
the amount
weeks.
of animal lives that would be saved, Henry.
That's
The
besides
average
the point.
person eats animals, right? So you're
Well, people
gonna
are born
save you're gonna
vegan.
save animal lives by advocating for all these
No,
abortions.
no, because people are born vegan. Everyone's born vegan.
You're not born with a philosophical view.
But you're born vegan.
You're
That's
not
true.
born with a philosophical view. That just makes no sense. Vegan is a philosophical view.
do
You're
you know
not
what
born with a
veganism is?
philosophical view. Like
You're
born
born not
nor vegan
exploiting
or
animals.
not vegan, right? You're just born, right? You don't have an ideology yet. Like, did you know this? Newborns don't have philosophical views. Crazy thing, right?
Yeah, they don't exploit animals though.
Wait, I'm sorry. Like, they could be eating meat or animals or things like that.
No,
right?
not at like 6 months. They're not
Drinking
eating meat.
milk. You don't think they'll drink milk?
They're drinking their mother's milk. That's fine.
Okay. Okay, but what about if they get formula?
Depends what the formula is made of. There's vegan formula, so.
If they don't get vegan formula?
Well, they don't have moral culpability. They don't make.
Of
their
course they don't have
decisions.
moral culpability. Okay, but
That would
then
be on the parents.
but I just don't understand how you're saying that they are vegan.
I don't understand
when
how you
they
can
just don't
defend
have a
factory
position.
farming. How can you defend factory farming?
I don't.
Seriously. So then stop eating meat then.
What? I don't see the argument, right? That specifically that would be the only way of getting me, and also like I don't think that my position actually is actually that like I'm plant-based, like at least I think it's preferable, morally speaking. I just happen to eat meat, and I think that's wrong.
Okay, but 99% of all meat in the grocery store is made in factory farms, right? You realize that?
I don't know if I would say 99%, but you
No,
can
that's-
get
it's a fact.
you can get it from
It's a
areas
fact.
in which would not be under that notion.
No, but in the grocery
again,
store.
Henry, like I just told you, I consider it wrong, but it would just be something I do as a part of my diet still.
Yeah, so you're doing something wrong, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're admitting you're not a good person, obviously.
I don't think that makes me not a good person. I just think I'm
Yes?
doing
Wait,
something wrong.
You don't think if you knowingly do something wrong, that makes you can still be a good person? If
Yeah, I think you
knowingly
can
do
still be a
something
good person even though you knowingly did something wrong. Yeah.
wrong? Well, so if I knowingly like murdered someone, would I still be a good person?
I don't think I compare that to murder.
But you're paying for the cruelty and
Wait, do you think
Murder
you
of
can
animals.
purposefully do something wrong and still be a good person? Have you ever purposefully done something wrong?
well, there are levels to it though.
Okay, have you ever purposefully done something wrong?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so are you still a good person?
Yeah, because like I try
No?
to do good. No, yeah, I said yeah, I am a good person. because
Okay,
I try
okay,
to do good.
all right. Well,
But,
you
like,
can
I don't
say that, like,
understand-
and I say that too, like, but like it's really really difficult to get off the diet and to move to something else. In situations I can, I do specifically try to do plant-based alternatives and hybrid when I can.
Okay, but I don't understand
And
why
I
you
can
think
fit it
Trump
in.
is the biggest issue right now when there is literally like an animal.
No, go
mass-
fuck yourself. I think Trump is a bigger problem.
Wow.
Seriously, because I care way more about humans than I do about non-human animals. It's not even close.
What rights has Trump taken away from you or your loved ones?
You do not understand the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Do you not understand he's undermining a
happened under
democracy,
Biden.
a rule of law, a constitution. He's calling for the deaths of some Democrats. He's literally held civilly liable of abusing women. He's also again a minor. Has literally what's it called? Or actually, let me clarify this.
what has he done
A
to
victim
you?
who got or a survivor got a settlement with the Epstein estate. Specifically accused Donald Trump. Right? They accused Epstein of trafficking her to Trump. Right? So that's another thing. He also protect PDFs in the Epstein files. I think I care a lot more about holding someone accountable for protecting PDFs in the Epstein files than just that. And also, like, I'm sorry, like, you understand both sides are not vegan, right? Like, that's not relevant to politics. So why are you focusing on politics instead of specifically just going on live stream and debating veganism?
Because I think politics matters as well, but
Okay, there you go. Thanks for the concession.
no, but I don't think Trump has done. First of all, you didn't answer my question because Roe v. Wade happened under Biden.
Dean, did you
Trump
want to go
was
live,
never-
by the way? I don't want to hold you back from going live.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I'm gonna hop on here in the next like few minutes. I'm just actually just right now nearing getting stuff set up. But I was actually thinking, if you wanted to end the stream, then quickly call me, just so we could like in like a minute or less just go over a handful
Oh
of
yeah,
things.
that makes more sense. I got you.
Are you
Here,
guys
let me,
like
let me
gay
thank some people,
besties?
and then I'll do that real quick. Hey Henry,
What, little bro?
I have a few things to say real quick. Can you real quick? I just have one thing for you to do real quick. Can you thank Neo for the $20?
Hell no.
Why not?
Because I'm not thanking someone for donating money to you. Like,
Why not?
sorry.
Why not?
Because I don't want to.
Can you thank Taffy for the $5? Or Adam for the $20? Or Megan for
Wait.
the $20? Or Felipe, thank
you
you for the
stop-
$50. Thank you very much. Or
Could you stop
Olivia
exploiting
with
animals?
the $70. Can we thank Olivia for the $70 for her 29th birthday? Can you say happy birthday, Olivia?
Can you stop
Can
exploiting
you say
animals?
happy birthday to Olivia?
No.
What? Why not? It's her birthday.
Because I don't know Olivia.
But say happy birthday.
No.
It's her 29th birthday. Can
What
we
if-
give them
what
happy
if
birthdays
Olivia-
for Olivia in the comment section right now?
What if
Happy
Olivia's
birthdays
a
for Olivia.
rapist?
This guy's just a real weirdo for not saying happy birthday. Jeez, that's crazy.
she's
Bro.
a-
What the type of bull? I'm
You-
kicking you from the stream. Go yourself. What an idiot. What?